Hello everybody and welcome to the GDM Garage, and today we will start our newly built single turbo Supra. Now today it's gonna be an exciting day. We're gonna do the first startup of the engine and the initial tune to get the engine to run by itself. And for you that are new to the channel, this is the Supra that we're working on in this project series. It's a 95 JDM Supra with the 2JZ GT engine and was pretty stuck when we started with this project, but now has a single turbo and an upgraded ECU and fuel system. And if you're interested to see how we did that, you can watch that in the link up here. And I've done some off-camera work with some small things. I put the throttle cable back, I replaced the red vacuum hoses that were over here with some new black ones. I wasn't really a big fan of the Fast and Furious colored one. And I have put this crankcase ventilation on, so now it dumps under the car, and yeah, some small things like that. But anyway, like I said, today we're gonna do the first startup and tune, and to do that we need to connect the ECU to a computer with the Sevinco aftermarket software on. But before we get to that, we're gonna do some final preparations to the transmission and then service on the engine. Now this Supra has the 4-speed automatic transmission, well, 3 gears and overdrive that is, and it has oil coiling that goes through the radiator, but the factory oil cooling won't be enough now when we have tuned the engine, so we need to upgrade the oil cooling for the transmission. And I'm going to use this 28 row radiator for that. And this is the largest radiator that I will be able to fit, and perhaps a bit overkill, but better to be safe than sorrow. And then I have made these hoses that will connect the radiator to the factory oil lines to the transmission, and these are AN8 in size, so they will be a perfect fit for the factory lines. And I'm going to install the oil cooler here behind the inner fender, and there are just enough room here for it to fit, but a perfect place at the same time, since there is really good airflow through there, and especially since there are these ventilation holes on the inner fender. And I'm going to mount the oil cooler using the bolts here for the tow hook. So I have made these brackets to be able to do that. And these I have made from 3mm aluminum sheet, so they are really sturdy. But now let's install the oil cooler. So now the oil cooler is installed, and I also put the inner fender back, so the oil cooler now sits nicely protected behind here. And if we go to the front, you can also see the oil cooler in there. And on top of that, the engine now has fresh oil and a new filter. So let's fill up some fuel and get it started. And I'm going to use E85 for this project. E85 is always better to use when you want to get at most horsepower as possible, since it has higher octane than regular gas. But I do know that depending on where you live, E85 can be hard to get. But over here in Sweden, where I live, you can get it pretty much at any gas station. So over here it's kind of obvious to use when you want to tune your car. So now we're going to do the startup tune, and I have my buddy here with his laptop that has the Sevinco software and is connected to the Sevinco ECU. So he's going to help me with the tune-up. He just has a little bit more experience with that than I do. So basically what he does is to make a startup tune for the engine, so the engine fires up and can run at idle, and then so the engine runs on low load, just so I can drive the car to the dyno, and then there we will tune the engine for high boost and normal driving. And it actually was an easy tune and didn't take that long. And the first startup was really successful and we didn't have any issues. I checked for exhaust leaks, fuel leaks and so on, but everything was okay. So we just did some small changes to the tune after the startup, checked if it ran under low load, which it did excellent. So then after that we were happy with the tune. So there, the startup tune is done, and as I will show you now, the engine starts up just fine without any problems. And yeah, it runs great on idle, and everything seems to work as it should. And the most important thing now is that the car is drivable, so I can now take it to the dyno, but that will have to be in an upcoming video. So yeah, basically this is all for this episode. Like if you enjoyed this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and until the next time, stay tuned.